Minarchy. No, seriously, I'm just kidding. Hi, my name's Rick Robinson. I am the general manager of KLRNradio.com. We are probably the largest independent podcast network that you've never heard of. We have a little bit of everything, and by that, what I mean to tell you is we have news, pop culture, special events, conspiratainment, true crime, mental health shows, drama productions, and pretty much everything in between. So if you're looking for a new podcast home to grab a little bit of everything that you love all in one place, come check us out. You can find us on X under @KLRNradio. You can find us on our Rumble and our YouTube channels under the same names. You can also find us at KLRNradio.com and pretty much every podcast catcher known to man. So again, feel free to come check us out anytime you like at KLRN.
Not to be a backseat driver, but can you say for sure you got the best monthly payment possible on your auto loan? Could it be that you might have gotten a better deal by shopping the loan at a few places and have a lower car payment? Next time, before you go car shopping, visit Communication Federal Credit Union first. Our auto loan experts will find you a perfect loan and get you the lowest monthly payment we can. Communication Federal, your auto loan experts. Restrictions apply. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hi, everyone. This is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the #1 way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Good afternoon and welcome to the program, America. I am Rick Robinson, one of the panelists for your weekend news roundup. Everything that you need to know about what's going on in the news and some of the things you probably wish you didn't know by the time we're done. I'll be joined by some of my usuals today. First up, we have from Town Hall, and formerly with me over at Twitchy, and yes, I get sniffy every time I have to say that, Amy Curtis, who is still killing it over at Town Hall, and she is on screen with us now. So how you doing?
I'm doing well. Like I said backstage, if you lose me suddenly, it's because, as you can tell from my curtains in the background, it's incredibly windy here, and I got a notification just before we went on that tens of thousands of people in Wisconsin have lost power because of this wind. So I'm here for the long haul, unless Mother Nature decides I'm not.
So I guess I should get this line out of the way now, just in case. Hello, Wisconsin. Okay.
That was a great show, by the way.
Yeah, one of my favorites growing up. I feel a little bad because that was around the time that because my kid used to watch it with me all the time. Then I found out years later, which is kind of an embarrassing thing for a guy that used to basically be in law enforcement in one form or another for a very long time to admit. But my oldest, the one we were discussing earlier, he was high most of the time, and I never noticed because I was always working. So anyway. So next up we have from Town Hall from Red State, and also now a 3-time contributor to KLRN Radio, because he does it's 4. I forgot, you're up to 4 now, I think, counting this one. But we have Brad Slager from Town Hall, Red State, and KLRN Radio. How's things, Brad? How are you? How are things in the news world, sir?
Doing well. Inside of things, trying to keep on the media, and holy hell, we're watching pretty much that industry melting down before our eyes right now. So it's been a hectic but enjoyable week.
Yeah, the funny thing is, it's almost like, how you guys on your culture shows always talk about how politics and culture are always downstream from one another. It
Mhm.
also seems that kind of the other thing that also holds true is as goes the media, so goes the left. Because
Yeah.
they're both just kind of blowing up right now. But anyway, and then our last
Yeah, they're
panelist,
kind of like
our last panelist who is sans camera still, because apparently he likes being a throbbing circle. If you weren't backstage, you have no idea why I said that, but now you heard me say it anyway. We have BZ from SHR Media, host of BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon on very select and exclusive Tuesdays and Thursday nights, and occasionally on Sundays. How you doing, sir? How's things?
Amy Curtis, Queen of the Wild Frontier. I'm doing well. Thanks for allowing me to be here, the throbbing circle of love in your life.
Not touching that one. Nope.
Literally.
You don't want to touch the throbbing circle?
I do not want to touch the throbbing circle. No.
That's
And that's totally going to get clipped and end up like going back to my boyfriend, and then I'm going to have some explaining to do. But yeah.
I didn't say that, and it's not funny. It's snowing, though.
Oh God, we're supposed to get that. Today, Sunday into Monday, we're supposed to get 18 to 20 inches of snow.
We have almost a foot of snow out there overnight. Boom.
So regarding the 18 to 20 inches of snow, Amy, I have a question.
Mhm.
Is your weather person male or female?
Male.
Okay, so you can cut it in half.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
It's not that deep.
Remember, we can't measure.
Also not touching that one. But yes, I'm hoping that it goes north of us and we don't get any, because this winter has broken me. I am done with Wisconsin winters. Just done.
Hey, we have a raptor sighting. This is weird. So on this one, all the different chat settings that I use to make like the font bigger and everything, so I can see it and it's bigger on the screen. It works great in this studio, not so much in the old ones. I think it's because those have been around for a while, so I may have to retire them and build new ones, which is going to annoy me. But
that is going to be annoying.
Yeah, this one's kind of newish, so I think it has all the new bells and whistles are actually working. Where in the other studios they kind of sort of work, but it's kind of like this eye over here. It looks like it does its job till it goes, "Hey, I'm over here now." Anyway, sorry, had to be done. I've talked trash about everybody else today so far, so I had to do some trash talking on myself. Oh, all right. So, where we want to go first? I mean, it's not like it's been an eventful week or anything, so I don't know what we're going to talk about for the next hour. So.
I sometimes marvel at the fact that it's only March 13th, because I feel like January, February, and March have been the longest 6 months of the year so far.
Yeah. 2026 has been the longest decade ever.
Yeah, honest to goodness. Well, I think we should probably start with the 2 terror attacks from yesterday, because that's the fourth, the third and fourth one in 2 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of obvious now that there are some folks that have decided that they're going to try to see how much damage they can cause.
Mm-hmm.
The scary part about that is it's seeming more like it's some of them are naturalized, which means they've gone through the process and done all the check boxes and done the swearing the oath and stuff, and then they're still like aloha snack bar bitches. No.
Right, because clearly the vetting process is not catching everything, because the gentleman I'm writing about ABC trying to rationalize this, the gentleman who tried to shoot up the synagogue in Michigan yesterday, Ayman Mohammed Ghazali, and I'm going to butcher that name and really don't care.
Yeah.
Just call him Speedy Gonzalez.
Speedy Gonzalez. Their ABC is trying to justify what he did by saying, well, his family was killed in strikes in Lebanon. There's a problem with that, though. 2 of his brothers were connected to Hezbollah and probably were Hezbollah terrorists. Won't hear that in the media, of course.
Shocker.
But right. But okay, so now we're going to go with the Jews in Michigan had it coming because terrorists in Lebanon died. Run with that, please, because I want you to get up there and justify it and say, yeah, they had it coming because of what they did. I mean, would it surprise me? No, because Scott Jennings just was on CNN the other night and they basically said, yeah, America had it coming on 9/11. I'm at a loss to figure out why the 2-year-old who was on flight 175 flying to Disneyland with her parents was in any way or shape or form responsible for whatever harms the Islamic world thinks we bestowed on them. But sure, okay, run with that. run with that. Nothing they do surprises me anymore, but it does still take me aback every once in a while. And connected to especially the terror attack in Michigan, did you see Alyssa Slotkin do a complete 180 on defunding DHS and ICE?
Yeah, but only after she already voted to keep it closed.
I'm gonna put this in the chat because it's
within a day.
Right. Yeah, I'm going to put this in the chat from Guy Benson, who absolutely took her to the woodshed over this, because yesterday, after the terror attack happened, and Slotkin knew it happened because she posted about it on social media, she still went ahead and voted against reopening the government and funding DHS. Now, today she said, yeah, we need to fund them and have a separate conversation about ICE. I'm glad it only took 4 terror attacks, and I believe 3 people now have died because of it, for the Democrats to go, hey, maybe keeping the government shut down is a bad idea for us going into the midterms.
Yeah, I find it completely disingenuous, because if she really meant it, because let's not forget, that vote she did just yesterday was after the attacks had already occurred, and she still voted.
Right. Right. But I think somebody on her team went, hey, maybe the optics of this don't look as good as you think they do. Maybe we need to kind of do a little bit of damage control on this.
All right. Well, we've got the clip right here, so let's watch together and then discuss.
This terrorist was not given a maximum sentence for trying to join ISIS. He traveled abroad to join one of the most evil terrorist groups in the world. We caught him. We brought him back. We tried him, and he received a sentence that was less than the maximum, and then he got out early. And then with that leniency, what did he do? Apparently got himself a gun and tried to murder as many people as he could at Old Dominion while shouting Allahu Akbar. What on earth are we doing in this country? I feel like, yes, he became a citizen. What is the argument? I'm genuinely curious. What is the argument against denaturalizing someone who was welcomed into this country and then chose to go try to join ISIS? Why was he still here? If we decide, okay, this person is guilty of trying to join ISIS, why don't we put him in prison for as long as humanly possible? And as soon as we know that that person's sentence is expiring, we get him on the first plane out back to wherever he came from, whatever country that might be, because that person should have absolutely forfeited his right to remain an American citizen. This is not like some open-ended right that he has forever, or at least it should not be. And I genuinely do not understand what is the argument against denaturalizing someone like that. That should be a layup, and yet we blew it, and now we saw what happened yesterday.
And I just want to...
Yeah, that was I don't know why I copied the wrong link, but...
No, it's still one of the attacks. So
yeah,
let's go ahead and talk about this first, because I actually disagree with Guy Benson.
Okay, tell me why.
But only on one point. I don't think denaturalization and kicking them out is good enough because of how often people are able to sneak back in. Somebody who's gone through all the process to become a citizen, to naturalize, to swear the oath, who then basically does actions tantamount to treason, should just be sent to go meet their 72 Virgils, as far as I'm concerned. Once they're
I have no qualms about that whatsoever.
In an ideal world.
Right?
Right.
Yeah. Well,
but didn't some court recently...
guy that attacked Old Dominion, they took care of him on the spot. Love that, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. What term did she use? She used a very specific, rendered him unalive, I believe is how she phrased it. And if you, I watched that press conference like 6 times. As she's saying it, she's trying really hard to not smile, because the way she made it sound and the way I read it is 2 ways. One of the cadets stabbed this guy 22 times, which those are rookie numbers, bump it up. Or 2, they just beat this guy to death. Either way, I'm fine with it, and I'm not going to lose a wink of sleep. But I also have to wonder if that goober that runs Norfolk County over there is actually going to charge them with crimes, because if he did stab him, you're not technically supposed to have a knife on campus. Wouldn't put it past a Soros-funded left-wing prosecutor to try and make an example of this guy. We'll see.
Oh, yeah. You know they're going to. It's just a matter of them using the proper language so it doesn't sound like they're protecting a terrorist. But this has been par for the course for the last 2 weeks with these 4 different attacks. The media has just like consistently been on the side of the attackers. And just yesterday, I saw Ken Delaney doing everything he can to blame Donald Trump for this attack.
Oh, of course.
They didn't deport him, says the media, who's against deporting people, and then talks about how, they should have gone after this guy after he was released in prison. When was he released, Ken? That would be in 2024.
Yeah, when Biden was still president.
Who didn't turn him over to naturalization or ICE to get rid of him. Ken.
I wonder why.
So here's my problem with that part though too, because we can't overlook the fact that dude was arrested in either 2016 or 2017 and then went to jail shortly thereafter. The Trump DOJ should have just tossed his ass then. Shouldn't have even bothered. I mean, nothing else, they should have put him under the jail. We have to be careful how we say things because we're trying to grow our YouTube audience. So, yeah. Anyway.
Yes, we have to use the creative YouTube euphemisms that I see my other favorite YouTubers using. So
speaking of, I tried to translate BZ's joke into the chat, and the censors said no. So, because he announced himself as Aloha Snack Bar to one and all from the circular BZ. So I tried to put throbbing in quotes, and the chat said no. Nerds, nerds.
Maybe you should send out like a list of correct euphemistic terms we can use, like relieve them of their oxygen dependency. Something like that.
Yeah. Unalive. Shed this mortal coil. Yeah.
Send them to their 72 Virgils.
Virgils.
Yeah.
I like that.
Don't come off the building. It's deceleration trauma.
Yes.
Everybody forgets that I have a degree in theology. Yeah, that's a misprint. The Quran actually says Virgils, not virgins. They just it doesn't sell as well, so they lie. Just kidding about that part. Not the degree in theology, though. All right, so let's get back to the actual clip because it still ties into what we're talking about. So, is it going to load, though? There it goes. All right. Here we go.
Well, ICE is already funded for the next 3 years, so that conversation should have been stripped away already. For her to say that certainly we need to fund Homeland Security, I agree, but I'm not the one who voted to keep it closed yesterday, which is what she did. There was a vote on this yesterday, which finished, by the way, after the attack in Michigan, in her state. She reacted on social media to that terrorist attack in her state before the vote ended. That kept the Democrat filibuster alive, meaning that the DHS department remains closed. She made that choice to vote to maintain the shuttering, the temporary closing of our Homeland Security Agency. And then she comes.
Okay, I'm going to let him get back to this for a second. But can we stop calling what the hell both parties are doing right now a filibuster? It is not a filibuster.
No, it's not a filibuster.
This is a snooze. That's all it is. They're basically setting this aside and then trying to allow other business to continue, which is why they got rid of the talking filibuster, because with everybody trying to filibuster everything all the time, we're not ever able to get anything done. But you know what it does do when you do the talking filibuster and eventually somebody is done talking and they shut up and they sit down and then you have to do the up or down vote? Then you find out who's on your side and who's not. So that gives people ammunition. So maybe we can start getting some Republicans to get off the couch during fucking primaries. Because the thing about it is, as pissed off as I am about Thune lying about that we don't even have enough votes to start an actual talking filibuster, he's not wrong about one thing. If you count the fact that 2 Republicans that absolutely hate Trump are retiring anyway, they don't have the 51 votes. They don't have the 51. If you do the math, they don't. Because you take McConnell out because he's leaving. There's another one who's retiring, and I can't think of his name right now, who absolutely hates Trump too. Then you've got Murkowski. That's at least 3 that you know are already going to be definite no's.
Tillis.
Yeah, Tillis. Yeah, he's a definite no.
But at least then you'll know, is it the ones that are retiring, stabbing us in the back, or are there other people that we need to deal with? And that's why I want the talking filibuster, because there's too many things that are handled behind closed doors now that we don't ever actually get to see who is voting for what and why. Because I don't care whether they're willing to vote for the 60 vote threshold or not, because people do that shit politically all the time. Is what I'll do is I'll vote to get it to the floor, and then I'll vote against it so it doesn't pass. So I don't care about the cloture votes. I care about the actual passage votes. And the only way we're going to really start being able to see those again, as long as they're using this fucking snooze, which they call a filibuster, pardon my language, because I'm trying to control a little more, but the last couple of days have not been that day. This just ticks me off, because we don't know how to make informed decisions, because we don't know who's working with us, and we don't know who's working against us. And let's not forget, it was our side that instituted this whole snooze. I wonder why that was.
Theater of the absurd.
Anyway, we should probably have this clip finished playing before I start ranting some more.
Was on the cameras today and says, oh, well, certainly we need to fund it. She had the chance to do so yesterday, and she chose not to. This was after, by the way, there were 47 Democrats in the Senate. 46 of them voted to maintain their filibuster to keep DHS closed. This is after 4 apparent jihadist attacks on the homeland in the last 2 weeks. 4 homeland attacks in 2 weeks, and nearly every single Democrat in the Senate voted to keep Homeland Security closed. It's astonishing.
But 53 Democrats couldn't even determine that Iran was a terror state.
Nope.
But Guy, we don't really know for sure it was Islamists, do we? We can't really prove that, can we? Why are you saying such hateful things, Guy?
Right. Why are you hitting us with facts?
But Rick, aren't you Islam Ulabaic?
Yes, I am. For those of you who don't know what that means, because for some reason the Greek word phobia, which has become a suffix for a lot of different things, has made it into English lexicon. The opposite did not. So Eulabeia, I think is how it's pronounced.
Yeah.
Is basically a rational fear with good grounding, is the best way to put it. So I am not an Islamophobe. I have a very good rational reason as to why I don't like Islam.
Yeah.
That's why I'm trying to make that new word a thing, so we can start throwing that back at everybody that calls us Islamophobes.
Right, because there is no such thing as Islamophobia. There's no such thing as transphobia either, or homophobia. Nobody has an irrational fear of any of those things. But when it comes to Islam, yes, it is perfectly normal and reasonable to have a fear of an ideology that wants to kill you. I talked about this last night when we were on with BZ. The gym that's literally walking distance from my house, I don't, because we have a healthy Muslim population in the neighborhood. The men, whether they're the brothers, the fathers, whoever, sit and watch their female relatives who are full garb exercise, because heaven forbid you let a woman go to the gym on her own. She might get ideas like that she has equal rights and it isn't your property. And it's uncomfortable for me as a woman. There was video from one of the hotels in Australia when the Islamic handlers from Iran realized that 5 or 6 of the soccer team defected. That was the behavior of abusers when they realize their victims have escaped, because I've seen it. That angry, panicked, we have to find them and get them back because how dare they get away from us. That's what Islam is, like, culturally, at its very roots. These extremist attacks, yeah, they're bad and they're overwhelmingly Islamic, but the day-to-day culture is also the problem. Just 2 weeks ago, we had that blow up because the Muslim in New York said she wanted to ban dogs. And Randy Fine said, I will choose dogs over Muslims. And the left lost their mind. In the UK now, schools are being told kids can't make drawings, not just of Muhammad, because that's a death sentence, but drawings in general, including drawings of Jesus, because he's been co-opted as a prophet for Islam, because that's blasphemous. Music classes, dance classes, those are also offensive to Islam. There is a cultural problem with Islam that goes far beyond the terrorism, which in and of itself is deadly. I don't want to live in a society run by those rules. And it's not a religious rule. It's not a theocracy. It is a socio-political movement that uses theology and religion as a veneer to get around things and hide under the First Amendment, especially in a place like America. And it's intolerable, and we should not allow it to happen.
Exactly. All right, give me just a second, because I have to respond to the chat on something.
Okay.
As God is my witness, I thought Islamists could fly. Had to be done.
Nicely done.
Nice. Yes. Just like the WKRP in Cincinnati turkey drop. Thought they could
Is he
fly.
getting a cease and desist from Les Nessman?
I just put something in the chat. They're keeping an eye on. There's apparently a bomb threat in downtown DC. Could be nothing. There was a bomb threat at the University of Virginia, that ended up being nothing. But given what we've seen this week, you can't take those things too seriously, or you should take those things seriously.
Yeah,
one of the two.
you should at least take it seriously, but just keep your head on a swivel, but don't don't fall into an actual phobia just because these people are retarded. Because there is an irrational fear of certain things, but the fear of themselves, especially when they're telling us the quiet parts out loud, like when they're allowed to, in what we now call dear Bordistan, for reasons,
Oh, Durka.
But when they're allowed to shout "Death to America" in the streets and nobody stops them or says anything,
or blast the Islamic call to prayer. It's the mayor of Dearborn Heights, who is a Muslim, who is saying the guy who attacked the Jewish synagogue, the temple, wanted to kill Jews. He's justified because we killed his terrorist brothers. There's a problem. There is a cultural problem there that needs to be addressed sooner rather than later before it gets out of hand.
See, well,
Islam does this because they know we're weak. We are a weak culture. We are a fearful culture.
And unfortunately, we always have been. Well, I don't want to say always, but over the last 100, 150 years, we've lost a step. I don't know what happened. I don't know when it changed, but we've definitely lost a step. What I do find interesting with, the Islamic culture and a lot of the Middle Eastern culture, appreciating strength. When we kick their asses, I'm kind of surprised they just don't go, maybe we shouldn't have done that.
No, because they don't learn, and because they are so driven by ideology, they keep coming back like the dog that just won't let go of the bone. Like, they don't realize, hey, this is stupid and hurts. No, I have to kill the infidels. That's their driving force. It's admirable in a very dark way. But yeah, no, we have absolutely lost our resolve to fight back against this, and we need to culturally, and it needs to be everyone, because I go back to that gym and tell these men to go F themselves because it's offensive that they're watching these women. What do you think they're going to do to me? I'm going to end up probably in a world of hurt, if not dead. But if everybody at the gym says, get out of here, that's a shift. That we need to not tolerate this as a culture, and we seem to have lost that.
Well, because the bulk of Americans right now fall into the GAUP category. They're guilty, overeducated white people.
I still kind of prefer throwing that label with women. Just saying. Affluent white female liberals.
So do you guys what do they call it? The sympathetic or suicidal empathy. We saw that from the guy in New York where the bomb place. He's sitting there defending Muslim in the town. The Muslim jumped over his head to throw a bomb, and he's like, I still do support them coming. It's like,
right,
you're going to do that from a
you almost got
casket.
You almost got a face full of shrapnel. Learn.
And you're still, but so speaking of not learning things, have you guys seen this that I have on the screen right now?
Let me see.
This is from the UN.
That is an impure thought that needs to be scrubbed, Sir Rick.
I did see that. I did see that. And I hope you're leading into this where I think you're leading into this, because.
Well, where do you think I'm leading into it? And we'll make sure we get there.
Okay. Well, because Trump had talked about he's going to look at these countries under, I believe it was Section 301. And if they're doing things like slavery, he's going to slap his favorite thing in the world on them, tariffs.
He's going to use his favorite word, and he's going to smack you around.
Yeah.
How many judges would line up to make sure that doesn't occur and get smacked down?
I don't want it to happen, but I cannot wait for it to happen. I cannot wait to have the Democrats go, you know what? We're fine with slavery. We just spent 5 years tearing down every Confederate statue in, the southern United States because slavery bad. But now, that's slavery over there. We can't do anything about it because we might make Trump look like the good guy. I can't wait. There is not enough popcorn in the world for how I will celebrate that.
We can't do anything about slavery in other countries. That's telling them what to do. Disingenuous bastards.
Right. That's just their culture. Okay, well, all right. Run with that.
Which is I don't want it here. I mean,
Right.
so that's what I'm waiting for is well, you have to understand, this is just their culture. Then good. Then there's no reason for that culture to come here because it's abhorrent and it is completely antithetical to everything that we believe in because we don't like slavery.
Right.
However, the Democrats and the Republicans, for the the Uniparty, as I usually call them, do actually prefer at least indentured servitude, if not necessarily slavery. 'Cause it helps keep wages lower and everything else. Fun times.
Whatever happened to assimilation? I've heard of that term and it's hateful and offensive now because that used to be the driving force of anybody coming to this country. And now we have to respect their culture and they can't blend in with us.
Right,
well,
right.
I can tell you when that started changing culturally, and it hurts me to say it.
When is that?
When Star Trek introduced the Borg, assimilation became a bad thing.
And you're absolutely right because like you can laugh about it, but politics is downstream of culture, and I have said that for years, and that absolutely would make sense. But it's also you can't have a Western civilization when the cultural cohesion that held Western civilization together is gone, and they know that. So rather than uniting in a Western Christianity, pluralism, small L liberalism, individual, like all of those things that makes Western civilization great. No, we're going to bring in a bunch of different cultures. We're going to say that they can't assimilate, and then there is no Western culture, so we can destroy it because we have chipped away at its foundations, chipped away at the things that made Western culture, and then it's gone because that's their ultimate goal, and that's why they're doing it.
Hey, Tony, if you're paying $7 a gallon for gas, you should probably be looking at more of your state tax issues. Also, just for the record, whether for Jeff, whether Trump is BB's bitch or not, just remember your mom's mine. So that. All right.
Did you see the drama that went on with CNN today and Pete Hegseth?
What did they do to him? No, because
no.
So he comes out in they have the press conference in the morning, with the update on Epic Fury with him and the general, and he comes slammed CNN for their story about the U.S. military had no idea Iran was going to try to block the Strait of Hormuz. And I mean, I saw the story and I'm like, who the hell believes this when that's just been Iran's go-to for, I don't know, decades.
Right.
Anytime there's a dust up in the region, that's the first thing they say they're going to do. We always send ships in there to keep things clean. So they put this out. And it all came from leaked intel from the Security Council that they held. Gee, I wonder where that came from, Chris Murphy. Any ideas?
Yeah. A Democrat absolutely leaked that. And they should be censured and removed for it. But continue.
So Hegseth, slams them from the podium and they all go into hair on fire, fainting couch mode. How dare he do this? And he's got a moral obligation to protect the media. Rah, rah, rah. And they just lost their mind. Brian Stelter comes out and says, the network stands by its reporting and this is unacceptable. And now I just saw, because I wrote about this a couple hours ago, now they've gone in and altered the story.
Of course. Of course.
Editorial correction on the story that they stand behind.
So wait, is this the
Incredible.
correction? Just to make sure I'm hearing you right, this is the Correction News Network that you're referring to, yes?
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, I used to call them the Communist News Network, but as often as they're having to do retractions, I'm just going to change the C to corrections.
This is like the 6th or 7th one this week.
Yeah. Abby Phillip had to go on both Twitter and on her show and issue a correction for saying that Mamdani was the target of those bombers in New York City last weekend. And her excuse was, well, I read it and you're not fucking Ron Burgundy. You knew what you were reading, you knew what you said, and you know that because you didn't correct what's her face, Anna Navarro, during the show, and even in her Twitter apology, she still implied that Mamdani was the target of this terror attack. He was never, ever the target of this terror attack. And I don't know exactly who started this narrative. I know why they did, but it was bullshit from the get-go. From the get-go. He was not the target. But again, his wife got busted celebrating the death of Jews, so they had to deflect and make them the victims. And the day afterwards, he hosted Mahmoud Khalil for a Ramadan dinner. The guy who has chanted "Death to America" supports Hamas, who the Democrats don't want to deport. Awesome optics there, guys.
Well, it gets worse because I just saw this. So hang on, I'm going to put this on the screen. I'm not really going to worry about the audio, but I still want everybody to see what it's talking about. So hang on. So do this and then do this. Well, I said I wasn't going to worry about the audio, but I guess once I expanded it, it started playing it anyway. So if you didn't think that having a communist Muslim mayor would embolden people, I have a bridge I'd like to sell you in this very place that they're doing this in right now. These are a bunch of hungry Islamists in Brooklyn shouting, "Globalize the empanada." Oh, wait, I said that wrong.
And look at that car that they're driving.
Right?
That's not exactly a junker.
Mercedes-Benz AMGs and Lambos.
Okay. I didn't know what kind it was because I drive a Honda Accord and that's as fancy as I get. But I know that that's an expensive car. Must be nice. Must be nice.
I'm sure they're one of those Leering Center investors.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
I'm
sure they are. But that again, that should not be tolerated.
See, that said Pennsylvania. Where were the Pennsylvania State Police at that time? There was a time when if somebody did that on a freeway, even with the California Highway Patrol, you would have seen about 10 units come over there and start yanking people out of cars and towing them and pushing them to the side. What happened to that?
That was actually a Pennsylvania plate in Brooklyn. So if nothing else, that should have been enough for NYPD to go, "What the hell are you doing?"
Mm-hmm. Right. But they haven't done that here at O'Hare. They've blocked the road to O'Hare and nobody does anything. The anti-Israel, pro-Hamas protesters and the Chicago PD just kind of go, But if you remember that the gas pedal's on the right, guess who's going to go to prison for the rest of your life? That's why I've got a trip coming up the night before I'm due to fly out, especially if the shutdown doesn't get resolved. I'm going down there the night before to make sure I can get to O'Hare without having to deal with any of this insanity.
Brad just sent me the clip with the clarification, the whole clarification thing. I'm just gonna throw it up on the screen for a second, just for fun. Because he was quote tweeting Tater. So any chance I have to trash Tater, here we go. But yeah, so
he's just. How does that guy still have a job? Because
they got rid of him for a while, and then they brought him back.
He did this on Monday when the network put out that romanticized love letter to the two bombers in New York City, and he tried to say that it was the fault of the social media team. The post was wrong, but the article was completely solid, and the post was a pull quote from the article. And so he said once again, the article was completely solid, and then they went in and cut out all of that language from the solid article.
Simply incredible. Incredible.
Within days this happened.
It was solid except for all the stuff we had to cut out. Just fantastic. Absolutely incredible. Just great work there, Tater.
You just shut down the network for like a week and just recalibrate it.
Right.
And they'll probably see an increase in ratings. It'll be like that time when somebody stole the Mona Lisa and the museum saw like 4 times the foot traffic that people wanted to see the missing picture. It'd be the same thing at CNN.
I'm just waiting for who is it that owns them now? Paramount to come in and be like, we're gonna put this on fire sale because I want to be Bezos and walk into CNN and be like, I'd buy that for $1.
Well, that's so funny. It's like at CNN, they're in a panic mode that Barry might be their boss now.
Good. I hope they're panicking. I hope they're panicking because they deserve to.
You're worried about them tearing down your she shed, so you're going to set it on fire? I mean, it's what's going on here anymore. It's ridiculous.
Right.
At CNN now.
Right. And the thing ridiculous. Is, absolutely. But the thing with Barry Weiss is she's not some MAGA Republican. She's a lesbian. She's a Jew who worked for the New York Times. She's a leftist who I respect because she also knows that journalism is supposed to at least pay at a minimum lip service to the other side of the story. She tries very hard to be fair editorially, and I respect that, even if I don't agree with her ideologically. All she's asking them to do is be fair, and they're acting like it's the second coming of Adolf because, oh my God, we can't be like, now we have to target our stories for a certain demographic. No, you've been targeting them for a certain demographic for decades. She's asking you to forget or to remember that there's 50% of the country that doesn't agree with you and to maybe kind of show the other side of the story too. That's all she's asking. And it's the hysterics from these people is just incredible. You know, they have a chokehold on every media outlet in the world and they lose their grip on a couple of them. And you think we're all going to die. Like it's the end of the world for them. Unbelievable.
So, Brad, what do you think is the chance of that happening, though?
I'd say fairly good. You know, it depends on how much crossover they're going to have with the network and the cable channel. And, you know, the other thing to consider too is that when Skydance Media takes them over, there's already the plan in place. People don't know if that's the network or not. So they may become a completely separate entity divorced from CBS unless, you know, all the same network channels go to the same entity that they want to create. So that's kind of a wait and see. But it's also something very needed because CNN has been bad for who knows how long, but holy hell, this year, and especially since Donald Trump took office, they have just, they've lost the script entirely.
Oh, that's just terrible.
Since we're doing a good job of pissing off all the Muzzy lovers on YouTube, I'm just going to put this on the screen for a second.
Might as well.
Normal world, father and daughter. Islamic world, husband and wife. Yes, we are not the same, and we never will be. So, yeah. That's one of the things that I love is hearing all these, you know, goat humpers talking about how, oh my God, your president's a pedophile. Yeah, so's your prophet, bitch.
Yeah.
Right. And then there's actually proof of the latter and not the former. You guys, and it like that whole argument. First of all, there's no proof that President Trump is a pedophile because he's not. But one of the stories I wrote this week for Town Hall, Gavin Newsom signed into law in 2020 this bill that lets prison. At the time, it was if you're 60 and older and have served 25 years of your sentence, they'll let you out of prison early. Kind of doesn't matter what you did. Well, they revised that, and now it's 50 years old, and if you've served 20 years of your sentence. So this week, he is paroling a guy who was sentenced to 355 years for multiple sex crimes against children. Not too long ago, they also let another guy go who had multiple sex crimes against children. It's really hard to take you seriously when you guys are screaming about the Republicans being pedophile protectors when you guys go and do stuff like that.
Well, see, this goes back to what I was saying about what Ben Shapiro said earlier about denaturalization and deportation. There are certain things that should just give you an express lane to a word that kind of sort of rhymes with jail, but not quite. And to me, that is one of them because wood chipper go brrrt.
Yeah.
Or at the least go with chemical castration before you put them on the plane.
Or just castration. Why make it chemical?
Yeah, why does it need to be chemical?
You know, people get wind that we're starting to castrate guys. Things may change, and real quick. Just saying. So,
hey, Chad, it's because they're listening to all the Tehran Timmys that keep saying that, you know, the Abraham Lincoln was sunk with a Soyuz missile, and it was actually an AI image of a Soyuz rocket hitting the battleship Yamato in World War II. So, yeah, that's why. That's why.
So the Russian space program is taking out our battleships on behalf of Iran.
Well, I just thought it was interesting that I'm like, wait a minute. So it's a Russian rocket going after the battleship Yamato. So we're in Star Blazers now. That's what we're saying. Because that feels like Star Blazers.
Right. Like, yeah. Okay. Right. People don't believe everything that you see on the internet, for starters, and certainly don't believe that stuff that comes out of the Iranian regime. So
Abraham Lincoln posted on the internet that everything that happens on the internet must be true. So don't you give me that, Amy. Don't you give me that.
Right.
Hey, I just saw this. I have a question for Brad. And literally, I just saw this. BuzzFeed has substantial doubt it can stay in business. It said today or yesterday, I think, that its ability to continue as a business is not so good. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I just saw that come across the transom this morning. I was expecting them to do like a financial report and said that, BuzzFeed is going to file a bunch of chapters. You're going to love number 11.
Yep. Yeah, no, I actually wrote about that because they in 20
She warned
years
us
ago, 3 years ago, right. They're $165 million in debt. They've slashed that by 65%, and I'm not going to do the math, but that's still a lot of fucking debt. They also own HuffPo and Tasty, which is a recipe food website. Okay, nothing of value will be lost if BuzzFeed goes under. I just remember 2016, they would go, and if you read some of their posts at the top of this thing, it would say, "We know times are tough right now, but we really hope that this is a distraction for you," because they were so addled with Trump derangement syndrome, they couldn't just bring a fucking list of funny things. Like, guys, Trump does not have to be every noun, verb, and adjective of what you say and do. Give it a rest.
I would just tell them to learn to code, but AI does all that shit for everybody now anyway. So.
Oh, yeah.
I keep forgetting HuffPo is an ongoing entity, too. I mean, it used to be they were everywhere. Now it's like they have to really screw up in order for me to even remember they're around.
Right. I totally forgot that they were. I totally forgot that they were a thing until I read that BuzzFeed article. I went, "Oh, they didn't fold because she sold it, right?"
Oh yeah, Huffington sold that a long time ago, but yeah, they haven't been moving the needle hardly at all. But then again, same with the Bulwark.
Oh my God! Yeah, don't even get me started on the Bulwark because
why you got to bring up Captain Scooping on a Friday, sir? Why?
Don't even get me started on that because
I haven't heard about that in years.
What's his name? Charlie Sykes was a big name in conservative talk radio here in Wisconsin until 2016. Yeah, he was huge, and I called into his show many times. I listened to his show every day, even when I worked for the city of Milwaukee, which was putting a big red flag over your head saying, I'm not a Democrat. And then Trump did an interview with him, and something in that interview broke his brain, like it did with so many others. And now he's just another Democrat, and I have no use for him. Shame on him for losing every principle he said he once had.
It was kind of funny though, because I did my end of the year rundown of all the journalists, and my town hall top 50, and I had Ben Smith and Tim Miller on it. And Smith said something to Miller. It's like, "Hey, I got ranked higher than you on this list by somebody." Making a joke, and then everybody's like, "Who the hell's Town Hall anyway? Who even reads that? What is that site?" And I had to find a chart, and I said, "Well, we're the outlet that has double the traffic of the Bulwark." Blocked.
I mean, trust me, I'm not trying to trash talk Town Hall, but double to zero is still zero, bro.
Touche, but yes.
How dare you?
But they have movie reviews. Okay, cool. Well, we can do movie reviews too. Like,
go to Red State. I do it frequently over there myself.
Yeah, I need to start doing more.
He moved over from the Free Beacon to the Bulwark. I'm like, what the hell are you even thinking, dude? You used to be cool.
Right. Like Red Stephen Miller, Red, not the one from the White House. We'll get to that in a second because that was one of the funniest things I saw on Twitter this week. Bashes him all the time for it. Absolutely all the time for it. Because have some principles, because the Bulwark is garbage. Go write movie reviews anywhere else but that trash site.
Right? I don't know, dude. I mean, you might as well, dude. If the only thing if the only place I had to work was either go to work at the Bulwark or start a Substack, I'd start a fucking Substack of my own before I would ever write for those. But then again,
Well, these are the geniuses. They just had a podcast last week where, after how many years of calling everybody on the right, Hitler, Nazi, everything else, the pretzel logic was such they needed mustard because they were doing everything they could to defend Plattner with his Nazi tattoo. Hey, it was just an accident. Okay, but he also had a lot of posts. Yeah, but he deleted them. What about his appearance on the White Supremacist podcast? Okay, he was on there, but he didn't say white supremacist stuff. Therefore, and yet if you wear a long coat during winter, that's Nazi gear and you're automatically Hitler.
Right. Brandon Herrera owns a copy of Mein Kampf. I own a copy of Mein Kampf. Oh, suddenly we're Nazis. Okay, spare me. He was 20 years old when he got that tattoo. He's an adult. I was just having this conversation with you guys backstage. My 19-year-old is taking a trip for his birthday. My mom's not happy about it because we're supposed to get a big storm this weekend. He's an adult. I can't stop him. He makes his own decisions. Graham Plattner was 20 years old. He makes his own decisions. This notion that I'm a kid, I'm a young adult, you can't hold me accountable for stuff I said when I was 20 because I'm a Democrat, but no, this teenager posted the rap lyrics when he was in, 8th grade, destroy his life, get him kicked out of college. Okay. The double standard is glaring and obvious, and I'm sick of it.
I just lit up some asshole today because he was mocking people that made fun or pointed out Mom Donnie's wife had liked posts that were anti-Semitic.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, this is your policy. You guys do this. This is your thing. And it's not like it was one from back when she was a teenager. It was dozens and dozens of them as she is basically his campaign manager.
Right. Well, she's a private. Yeah. Especially when you are the mayor of the city where the largest Jewish population outside of Israel lives. They have a right to know whether or not your wife thinks it's funny that Hamas is killing them. And I wrote about her again today too, because she also illustrated a book for a very prominent anti-Semitic pro-Palestinian activist who has called Jews cockroaches, rootless parasites, and rabid demons. Like, okay, as Ian Fleming says, once is happenstance, twice is coincidence, 3 times is enemy actions. We are now on, I take it back. We are now on example number 3 because they hosted Mohammed Khalil at Gracie Mansion.
Hey, Roy, if that's your thing, brother, that's cool, but you might not want to keep saying that on public channels. That's a little weird.
I had a question for him. I'll wait for the answer.
I don't know if I want to know. I don't know if I want to know what the answer is. But okay. Yeah, I just saw what Roy posted in the chat. All right. YouTube is the Wild West, apparently.
Was it consensual? I mean, because if not, there could be problems.
Yes. You better lawyer up, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you just made a public confession that you might have just molested a jellyfish, brother man. That might not be a good thing.
And was it a federally protected jellyfish?
Probably, because aren't most of them? I know there's quite a few that are.
I don't know. All I know is you don't want to touch them because they'll hurt. You especially wouldn't want to touch them with that part of your body. And being a woman, I'm just assuming, but I'm feeling that would not be very pleasant in any way, shape, or form to get stung there. Just saying.
You wouldn't think so. All right. So I noticed, Amy, that you sent me a link of Red Steez being mistaken for.
Honest to goodness,
that was awesome.
Tori may be the dumbest person on Twitter because not only does Red Steez have his profile pic right there, and he doesn't look a thing like Stephen Miller.
Their ads aren't even the same, though.
Right. Like, pay attention. But then again, this was the guy who actually fell for an AI-generated image of a scuba diver in the New York subway during a hurricane. So we're not exactly working with a genius here.
I think that was pre-AI, though.
Oh, it may have been pre-AI.
That was just
Photoshop.
Photoshop.
Or Photoshop, yeah. So, and this just crossed my feed, and this makes me nervous because my boyfriend is in Virginia and he's a teacher. There was an incident at a Virginia school where a masked assailant tried to get into the school and assaulted an employee in the process. Jordan Cromes of Spotsylvania, who was taken into custody at 7:49 this morning. He's been charged with trespassing, disorderly conduct, assault, and a mask in public. So I'll put that in the chat because was this another attempt at a terror attack? Because a guy got arrested in Texas on Tuesday for walking into a school with tactical gear on and a gun. And the guy
is Jordan Cromes, 32, of Spotsylvania.
Spotsylvania.
He's a black dude.
Mm-hmm.
Because leftists think that's important, so I think it's important too.
Mm-hmm.
It's important.
It also means that's not going to show up in the media at all.
Right?
Nope. Yeah, that's the first I'm hearing about it.
That'll be one of these things.
Yep. It'll get swept under the rug, just like the one in Texas, which I didn't hear about until this morning too. He showed up at a school, like I said, armed with a gun, a tactical gear. He said the door was unlocked. There's some speculation a parent or somebody walked in and then let him in. Don't ever do that. Honestly, we're taught as a society, be polite, hold doors open for people. I go into my kids' elementary school. I don't care who you are. I'm closing the door behind me. You can get buzzed in by the office. It's just a matter of security because I don't want to be the person that lets the bad guy into the school. And thankfully, this guy in Texas was confronted by office staff. He left. He was arrested and is charged with a felony. But I don't think we have any comprehension of how many sleeper cells and potential terrorists were let into this country under Biden. Like, I think we are in for a very rough spring and summer.
It's going to be interesting. All right, so we are coming to the end of our time together already. We're going to do things a little bit differently today. So what I'm going to do is go around the table one at a time, ask you for your favorite child of the week, as everybody knows, favorite story, and then tell everybody where they can find you, whatever else you want to promote. Then I'm going to drop you off the screen, move on to the next one. We'll start with Amy since her power is held out for so long, just so we can make sure we get it all done.
I don't know if you guys can hear how loud the wind has been this entire time, but it has been if it wasn't sunny, I wouldn't be on. I'd be hiding from a tornado because that's how windy it is. But my favorite story is actually one that's going to publish tomorrow from a dissent in the Ninth Circuit in the case of Olympus Spa versus Armstrong. Long story short, the Olympus Spa is a traditional Korean spa for women. And I think you probably know where this is going.
Yes.
Some fully
Yeah.
intact dude sued because he wants to show his junk to these women and girls in this spa. And guess what? The Washington state officials in the Ninth Circuit agreed with this guy that he has a human right to flash these people. But Judge Lawrence Van Dyke, this is his dissent, and I'm going to read it because it is one for the ages.
Oh, God, it's great.
Yep, and it's just a paragraph. This is a case about swinging dicks. The Christian owners of Olympus Spa, a traditional Korean women-only nude spa, understandably don't want them in their spa. Their female employees and female clients don't want them in their spa either. But Washington State insists on them, and now so does the Ninth Circuit. You may think swinging dicks shouldn't appear in a judicial opinion. You're not wrong. But as much as you might understandably be shocked and displeased to merely encounter that phrase in this opinion, I hope we can all agree that it is far more jarring for the unsuspecting and exposed women at Olympus Spa, some as young as 13, to be visually assaulted by the real thing. Sometimes it feels like the supposed adults in the room have collectively lost their minds. Woke regulators and complicit judges seem entirely willing, even eager, to ignore the consequences that their Frankenstein social experiments impose on real women and young girls. Thank you, Judge Van Dyke. And of course, all the people who are upset about this, well, that was crude and that's delegitimizes the court. No, a court saying that a man can pretend to be a woman and violate the rights of actual women, that's what debases the court and undermines trust in the judiciary. That is my VIP piece for tomorrow, so watch for that to drop. I believe it publishes 9 a.m. Town Hall tomorrow. But
come on, Amy. The helicopter isn't just for killing commies. Come on, man.
I'm completely on board with that, but that is Judge Van Dyke's dissent. It is one of my favorite judicial dissents of all time. It should be hung in the Louvre. Now, you can find me on Twitter at Ranty Amy Curtis. It's down in my handle there. At Town Hall, where I write tons of stuff every day and even on the weekends. And then on Amazon, Gaslight, Amy Curtis, go buy my book. Thank you all for having me on. It was always a blast, and this goes way too fast.
All right. Well, we'll hopefully see you next week.
I will be here.
Brad, you are up next, my friend. What do you got for us?
I'm going to go with one. I think I cut this on the weekend, but cracked me up when I saw this, that there are select states that want to cut some of their state income tax, but not all of it, and not for citizens. They want to make an exemption for college football players because of the NIL, so that their universities can be more competitive with states like Florida that don't have an income tax. So you've got states that are trying to get a tax exemption for teenagers making millions of dollars from out of state, but not their citizens.
Dude, the NIL stuff is going to be the death of college sports. It really
Probably.
is.
But the part I love is that they're doing this because taxation stifles competition and is a disincentive program, but only for football.
Welcome to the party. It's too bad you only see this through your little myopic lens you got going on there. All right, so where can folks find you, sir?
Well, you can find that article and many more over at Red State. I also have a daily media column over at townhall.com, and you can hear me on this network. Thursday nights, I have entertainment shows, either bad movies and or the business of the show with Orty. And Tuesday nights, I'm here at 8:30 with the ever effervescent Aggie Reekin on the Cocktail Lounge, where we take some lighthearted news approaches, sports, art, all kinds of fun stuff to distract. And then if you need me on social media, go to Jitter. I'm at Martini Shark.
Jitter's full. All right, so that'll be it for Brad for this week. We will hopefully see you next week, God willing, and the creek don't rise. And BZ, you are the last up before I close out the show.
Well, number one, thanks for allowing me here today. I really appreciate it. And then I have three that I'll just gloss over really quickly. One was U.S. offers up to $10 million for information on Khamenei Jr. and other officials. Okay, that's cool. The other one I noted is the IAEA is trying to broker a new deal with the U.S. and Iran. Semicolon, why? And then the other one is France and Italy open talks with Iran in hoping of securing safe Hormuz passage. We're starving. We're being strangled. Please find it. Make peace be upon you so that we can come through the Strait of Hormuz. Anyway, I'm BZ, the BZ's Berserk Bobcats Loon radio show, live and direct from the SHR Media studio, and also co-streamed, restreamed, more streamed. We all scream for more streams from KLRN. I'm on Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Central, and 11 p.m. Eastern. I am your conservative Sherpa. Thank you, sir.
Sherpa rise. Oh, wait. All right, so it's been my pleasure. All right, folks, that's going to do it for this particular episode. I do not have a favorite child of the week. I've been doing editorial stuff. I hope to be fixing that probably Sunday. I have a bunch of content nearly ready to go. I've just been working on some of the other side of stuff. My name is Rick Robinson. I am the almost said program director. I gave somebody else that job. General manager, KLRnradio.com/DB. Also news director for Digital Beacon US News. I write for Twitchy.com. I write for theloftusparty.com. I also write for MisfitsPolitics.com. I also produce the Loftus Party podcast, which drops on Tuesdays through my separate production company, Kung Fu Rick Productions. I also, you can find me on X at KLR Radio. You can find everything you can find me on X at RadioRick73. You can find everything that we do, mostly under the moniker at KLR Radio. You can find us on Facebook that way, X that way, and YouTube that way. However, for some reason, Rumble made me put it as America's Podcast Network. So that's how you got to go find us over there if you prefer Rumble. You can also find me, as I'm starting to use a little bit more, on Pickaxe. So if you're over there, come say hi, give me a follow. Since it's got an app, I'm going to see what kind of traction I can build over there. But that's going to do it for this particular episode, ladies and gentlemen. Again, want to thank you for taking the time to hang out with us on your Friday. And we will see you. I should be back tonight, 8:30, for He Said, She Said with the lovely Aggie Regan. And then I'm off till Sunday. Bye, everybody.